We are continuing our Marvel Marathon Madness with Blade Trinity, the third film that came out starring Wesley Snipes as the titular human-vampire hybrid hero of Marvel. Blade is known as the Daywalker, an individual with all the strengths of a vampire, but none of their weaknesses. So let's go ahead and jump straight into the plot. A team of vampires are examining an ancient crypt in the Syrian desert, as they are certain it is the final resting place of the first vampire, Dracula, known as Drake. To make sure Blade does not intervene, they set him up for the murder of a human familiar. The FBI eventually finds Blade's hideout and kills his mentor and friend Abraham Whistler. Now demoralized, Blade surrenders to them. Following that, familiars have organized for the authorities to turn him over to them. Blade, however, is rescued by Hannibal King and Abigail Whistler, Abraham's daughter, who asks Blade to join their team of vampire hunters, the Night Stalkers. Blade learns that Danica Talos, an old enemy of the team, has resurrected Drake with the aim of using his powers to cure vampires of their weaknesses. As the first of the vampires, Drake can survive in the sunlight just like Blade. Blade also learns that the Night Stalkers created a powerful ultraviolet ammunition named Sundog, along with an experimental bioweapon known as Daystar that kills vampires at the genetic level, but to make it effective, they need a pure blood vampire source. Now Drake is way too powerful to kill by normal means, so they hope that the virus will kill him, and with his blood in the mix, ensure that the rest of the species is wiped out, which unfortunately can also include Blade. Drake wishes to test Blade, and so he separates him from the Night Stalkers. Drake clarifies his view that both humans and vampires are lesser in his eyes and that he aims to kill them all. Meanwhile, Abigail finds proof of the vampires' plans for human enslavement, which is a network of blood farms where brain-dead people are drained of their blood for vampires to consume. Blade decimates the farms and executes the familiar cop that was rounding up people. Returning to their hideout, unfortunately Blade and Abigail find everyone dead except for King and Zoe, the daughter of Summerfield, who is the creator of Daystar, and they learn that both were taken captive. A recording left by Summerfield reveals that Drake's blood is in fact all that's needed to make Daystar effective. To extract information from him, King is tortured by the vampires, but he refuses to talk even when they threaten to turn him and force him to feed on Zoe. Blade and Abigail arrive and free Zoe and King, and then Blade confronts Drake. Drake eventually defeats Blade in combat and prepares to kill him with his own sword, but Abigail then fires the Daystar arrow, where Drake then manages to catch it before it hits him. He drops it on the floor by Blade, not realizing the danger it poses. Abigail then releases another arrow towards Drake, this time wounding him, and Blade uses the distraction to stab Drake with the Daystar arrow, triggering a chemical reaction that completes the virus, as well as releasing it into the air mixed with his blood. As the virus becomes airborne, it annihilates Danica and the rest of the vampires. As Drake slowly succumbs to his wounds and the virus, he praises Blade for fighting honorably, but warns him that he will eventually succumb to his need to feed, thus proving that Blade is the future of the vampire race. Using the last of his power, Drake shapeshifts into Blade. The authorities then recover the body, but as they begin the autopsy, it transforms back into the deceased Drake. We learn that Drake's last transformation was a parting gift so that Blade could escape, leaving Blade free to continue battling his never-ending war against the forces of evil. The Blade films are a guilty pleasure of mine, and while I do enjoy all three, I find this one to be the weakest of them all. There are entertaining moments, but overall it sputters and loses itself as the film goes on, and even the original Lord of Vampires Dracula could not save the film. Overall, the vampire slaying Blade films are a mad ride for sure, and a great take on this hero. Now the next video I will cover is 2003 Hulk, and following that is 2003 Daredevil, so stay tuned, and please do consider hitting the like button and subscribing. I would truly appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for spending your time with me. Until our next adventure, you all stay classy.